Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a really fascinating journey. It's into this concept you find across ancient texts, waiting on the Lord to soar like eagles. Our deep dive today, it's built around this compelling message outline, and it pulls some, well, incredible insights from really powerful narratives.
Right. Especially that dramatic story of Esther, Mordecai, and Haman.
Exactly. And it weaves that together with wisdom from, prophets like Isaiah and the Psalms.
Yeah.
So our mission really is to unpack how some of history's deepest, darkest moments of despair, how they can actually transform into these soaring triumphs. And often it's not just through individual grit, you know?
It's presented as something else.
It's through a very specific kind of active form of waiting and earnest petition.
Right.
So get ready for some unexpected turns and honestly, some profound insights here.
What's particularly striking, I think, is how these ancient narratives, I mean, they're separated by centuries,
Right.
but they still converge on these, universal principles. Resilience, the dynamics of unexpected interventions,
Yeah.
and just the surprising ways that huge challenges can become these powerful catalysts for profound change. We're going to explore those patterns.
Okay, let's unpack this then. So our journey begins really in a place of widespread crisis. The source paints this really vivid picture of Mordecai's anguish. Ripping his clothes, sackcloth and ashes, crying out openly in the city streets.
It's raw.
It is, and it wasn't just private sorrow, it was communal. An outcry echoing across all the provinces as this destructive decree spread.
Yeah, the text says, "Great mourning among the Jews, and fasting and weeping and wailing," a real collective despair.
Absolutely.
And that initial scene, it's so crucial because it immediately sets up the extreme stakes involved.
Right.
It shows a community just at its most vulnerable, facing what looks completely insurmountable.
Yeah, seems hopeless.
But, and this is what the source material really emphasizes, this deep despair isn't shown as the end point.
Okay.
Instead, it's presented as the precise catalyst needed for a very specific collective response.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting then. Queen Esther. She's initially unaware of the full horror of it all.
Right, she's somewhat sheltered initially.
But she soon learns about the decree and Mordecai's desperate plea and her response. It's not just brave, it's like a masterclass in strategic defiance. She doesn't just give in to despair, no way. Instead, she declares basically, go, gather all the Jews in Shushan, fast for me, don't eat or drink for 3 days, night or day.
And she includes herself.
Exactly. And my maidens will fast too, and then I'll go to the king, even though it's against the law, and if I perish, I perish.
Wow, that act of leadership is pretty remarkable when you think about it.
It really is.
The source really highlights that she wasn't a kind of do as I say, not as I do leader at all. She led by example, fully participating in the fast.
Yeah, that's crucial.
And it reframes this whole period of collective sorrow and, wailing as this necessary but temporary stage.
Okay.
It asserts that the real triumph, victory, joy, gladness, and promotion, all that comes at the end.
How?
By actively waiting upon and crying unto the Lord. It's this collective dedication, really prioritizing the preservation of their people above everything else, that's shown as the essential first step.
So bringing this back to you, the listener, the profound insight here seems to be that true power in a crisis often lies not in that immediate, maybe frantic action,
Right.
but in a strategic collective pause, this waiting we're talking about. It transforms despair, makes it a catalyst, really setting the stage for an unexpected shift.
Exactly. A shift in momentum.
Okay, so moving from that collective period of focused waiting, our deep dive now brings us face to face with the architect of the whole crisis, Haman.
Haman.
The source shows him, initially anyway, joyful and with a glad heart. He's just basking in his huge wealth and his recent promotion.
Yeah, he's feeling pretty good about himself.
But that joy, it just sours instantly into indignation the moment Mordecai refuses to bow to him.
And what's fascinating here is Haman's almost, theatrical downfall. It's rooted so deeply in his pride.
Totally.
And his disastrous reliance on what the source calls wrong counsel from his wife and friends.
Right, their advice. What was it again?
Build a gallows, a huge one, 50 cubits high, specifically for Mordecai.
50 cubits, that's enormous. Really shows the depth of his hatred.
It really does. It's obsessive.
Then comes the truly, cinematic turn of events. That very night, the king can't sleep.
Classic insomnia trope.
Right. And he does what apparently insomniac kings do, orders the royal chronicles read aloud. And what does he discover, this forgotten record? Mordecai had saved his life from an assassination plot.
Wow.
An act for which Mordecai was never honored. And at that precise moment, guess who walks in?
Gotta be him.
Haman, ready to make his request for Mordecai's execution. But the king beats him to it, asks him, "What shall be done unto the man whom the king delighteth to honor?"
Oh, that's the ultimate irony, isn't it?
That's perfect.
Haman, just full of himself, naturally assumes this huge honor is for him, of course.
Right. So he describes the most lavish royal treatment you can imagine.
Yeah, the royal robes, the king's own horse, a crown.
And a public parade led by one of the king's most noble princes.
The source presents this as just a profound reversal, almost like a cosmic joke, really, highlighting this idea that your enemies will be used to crown you.
And then the king just drops the bomb. "Make haste, take the apparel and the horse, as thou hast said, and do even so to Mordecai the Jew." Haman is forced to publicly honor his sworn enemy. Can you even imagine that walk of shame?
Just crushing humiliation. He returns home mourning.
And get this, even his own wise advisors basically tell him it's over. If Mordecai is Jewish and you've started to fall before him, you won't prevail, you will surely fall.
They see the writing on the wall.
Huh?
And the culmination is swift. It really serves as this powerful example of, well, poetic justice.
Yeah.
Haman is ultimately hanged on the very gallows he so meticulously prepared for Mordecai.
Wow.
And the source emphasizes, that the enemy's destructive plans are never hidden from a higher power. It asserts that the Lord will overrule their plans and they will become victims of their own evil plots.
So it backfires completely.
Completely. It also touches on the severe consequences for those who conspire against others, suggesting an ultimate painful accountability for their actions in the long run, citing other texts about judgment.
So the core lesson here is just striking. In the face of this dedicated waiting, this collective supplication, even the most elaborate malicious schemes, they can spectacularly backfire, leading not only to the schemer's own undoing, but often to the unexpected elevation of those they try to destroy.
It's a powerful narrative arc.
Okay, so Haman's dramatic demise happens. The immediate threat seems gone.
Well, yes and no.
Because remember, that irreversible edict against the Jews, it's still looming out there.
Exactly. The law, as written, couldn't just be erased.
But the source powerfully asserts that the God of heaven is able to change what the world thinks is unchangeable. And what unfolds next is just this cascade of, astonishing transformations.
Indeed it is. First, Mordecai is given Haman's entire estate. Huge transfer of wealth.
Right.
And perhaps even more significantly, he gets the king's personal signet ring.
Which means
immense royal authority, the power to act in the king's name.
Okay, wow.
Then Esther empowers Mordecai to literally rewrite the decrees, to issue a counter-decree.
So he can fight fire with fire, legally.
Essentially, yes. The source highlights this as a profound transfer of power. The possession of your enemies will be turned over to you. And you will receive authority and anointing to rewrite everything written against you. That anointing suggests, kind of divine or formal validation, giving complete authority to undo and reverse.
And the change on the ground is just dramatic. Mordecai emerges in magnificent royal apparel of blue and white with a great crown of gold.
A visible symbol of the turnaround.
And the city, Shushan, it says, rejoiced and was glad. For the Jewish people, their tears, crying and weeping are now over. A change has come and heaven has promoted you.
A complete shift in atmosphere.
They now experience light and gladness and joy and honor. And incredibly, get this, many of the people of the land became Jews, for the fear of the Jews fell upon them.
It's a total societal shift.
Yeah.
Fear turning into respect, even emulation.
It's amazing.
And this whole narrative connects so deeply with that enduring promise you find in Isaiah. You know the one?
The eagle passage.
That's it. Even when young people feel exhausted, when strong individuals stumble, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles.
They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint.
Yeah, that passage, it isn't just like pretty poetic imagery. It's describing a profound inner transformation, a renewed capacity.
Right.
And the source presents this as a direct outcome of this active waiting. It's about gaining a new perspective, kind of rising above the immediate turmoil to find this transcendent resilience.
It's such a powerful metaphor for endurance and renewal, isn't it?
Absolutely.
The source reinforces this with other examples, too, like King Hezekiah, his fervent prayer, his tears. They reversed a death sentence, added 15 years to his life.
Right. The message there is that a higher power will not overlook his people suffering, weeping, and wailing, that there is a blessing in waiting upon the Lord.
It's not passive waiting, then.
Not at all. It's active trust, persistent petition.
Right.
And the core message here is just remarkably consistent across these different texts. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning.
Right. Psalm 30.5.
And the source asserts pretty directly that whenever there's any challenge or problem, if you go to the Lord in prayer, heaven will turn those situations around for you.
And that these wonders, like in Esther's story, came from waiting upon the Lord.
Precisely. It's presented as a consistent principle. Persistent, faithful petition can bring about radical change.
So the key takeaway here for you listening is this profound idea that patience, persistent petition, this deep reliance on a higher power, it can lead not just to personal strength and endurance.
Which is huge in itself.
Right, but also to the complete reversal of seemingly insurmountable obstacles, ushering in an entirely new era of, well, joy and triumph.
It's quite a promise embedded in these stories.
What an incredible deep dive that was into the transformative power of waiting and its profound impact on this narrative of Esther, Mordecai, and the Jewish people. We've really seen how utter despair can genuinely give way to astonishing victory, and how the actions of adversaries can, ironically, just pave the way for unexpected elevation.
Indeed. And, it's important for us to understand the context of the source material for this deep dive.
Right.
It does originate from a religious message.
Yeah.
And as such, it ultimately aims to provide specific spiritual guidance to its intended audience. It explicitly states its purpose is partly to guide unbelievers to recognize Jesus Christ as the sole path to escape eternal judgment, and also to offer believers with guidance for victory in life and ministry. It even includes, interestingly, principles of success in academics and careers for young people. So our discussion today has focused on extracting those universal principles we see playing out in the narratives themselves.
Absolutely. It's a comprehensive message with a very clear intended application for its original audience. And that leads us nicely to our final thought, something for you to maybe mull over.
Okay.
How might this principle of strategic waiting, whether you're waiting for clarity or inner strength, or maybe just the right opportune moment, how might that manifest in your own life, especially when you're faced with situations that feel, well, unchangeable? And what unexpected outcomes might that kind of patience, that active waiting, unlock for you?